Zeke has not been easy to know. He is a person of subtle facial expressions and relatively few words. Emotions are not readily shared or shown. At times, he has felt downright inaccessible. And yet always, there were tantalizing hints of something, someone, truly wonderful inside that inscrutable self. It was like he was closed up in one of those complex puzzle boxes, and we, his teachers, just needed to figure out the right sequence of moves to access him. When Zeke was in 6th grade, Ms. Cass led his class in a novel study of Garvey's Choice. Zeke had been very quiet in humanities up to that point. His teachers had been flummoxed by how to get him to raise his hand, to share his ideas, to put pen to paper. They couldn't figure out the right moves to open him up. But I remember how Ms. Cass came back each day from her time in his class, moved to share Zeke's thoughtful insights. He was not constantly talking, but when he did, he reached something essential and deep about the novel. And when it came time for the final project, he did not do a piece of artwork or writing. He made a cheese sandwich. Odd seeming, but it was a sandwich that Manny, the friend who brings Garvey confidence and belief in himself, made. And it made perfect sense to Zeke. In 7th grade each day, Zeke got off the bus and walked the small first grader Reuven across the street to his classroom in Rodefay. He spoke to him with care, waited patiently for him, moving at his pace without impatience or urgency, and seemingly oblivious to his many peers following in his wake. And then he would come up to 204, and his voice would disappear, and I couldn't get him to even look my way. I would ask him questions, try different moves to unlock that box. For the first 3 or 4 months of teaching him, I'm not sure I ever got more than, I don't know. I was perplexed. Zeke was a mystery, a puzzle I wanted to solve. There were times when I thought I might have it, finally figured out the right combination, but then the next day, it was clear I was wrong. Then came 8th grade, and Zeke entered as a different student. In our first unit, students wrote personal narratives, a genre I thought would shut Zeke down. Instead, it seemed he couldn't stop writing. Each class, he hunched at his laptop, oblivious to distractions around him as the words flowed out. And they were beautiful, filled with detail and sensory language and Zeke's own voice. That is when I realized that I had been going about it all wrong. It was not puzzling that was needed, it was patience. Just like his walk with Reuven each morning, Zeke cannot be hurried. He cannot, simply follow in the path that others are on. He has to make sense of things in his own way and at his own pace. The job of those of us around him is to step back and give him the space to do just that. And believe me, it is worth the wait. Whereas 7th grade Zeke drew pen stick figures quickly during morning advisory for his sketch quotes for Romeo and Juliet, 8th grade Zeke brought in carefully crafted artwork that unpacked the layers of the language in A Midsummer Night's Dream. Sometimes Zeke can get stuck. In these moments, Zeke doesn't always have the words to say it, to name the problem, to ask for help. In preparing his opening statement for the Civil War mock trial, Zeke spent days cycling between staring at the blank screen and distracting himself. I checked in, I asked what was wrong, but no words came. But it was patience, not puzzling, that Zeke needed. The day came when he sat with me to begin writing, then came back the following Monday with a dazzlingly complex argument that demonstrated both deep knowledge of what we had studied and that Zeke had gone out to learn more on his own. When Zeke gets stuck, it can be hard for those of us on the outside because he can't explain. The words don't come. But those words are really for us, not him. Explanations, wordy conversations, those aren't Zeke's thing. Zeke does best when he can just be, without analysis or explanation. We see this when Zeke is building, creating, experimenting in science. When the room is full of words, notes, and discussion, Zeke is restless. But when it comes time to just be and to do, Zeke's body becomes still, his focus laser sharp. He does not get frustrated when he makes a mistake or when he has to start over. He simply gets right back to work. We see this as well whenever Zeke is with younger students. With his buddies, he is gentle and attentive. He makes them feel that they are the most important people to him, not because of some act he puts on or verbose speeches he makes to them, but because when he is with them, they are. They light up in his presence and he in theirs. I have learned a lot about Zeke these past 2 years. I know the signs now when Zeke is stuck, when he has found the path, when he is ready to lean in, and when he needs to step back. And Zeke has grown so much, in his thinking and in his writing, and how he communicates with others. And yet, Zeke is still a wonderful mystery. There is still a lot within him that we, on the outside, have not yet seen, and that perhaps he has not yet discovered. What a gift. Zeke, as you move into new spaces with new classmates and teachers, know that you are creative and analytical, you are kind and tenacious, you are careful and clever. Be patient with yourself in your journey. Yours is a puzzle with many iterations, many solutions. You are made of worlds that are worth exploring.
Hello, my name is Zeke Singer, and I've been at Akiba since kindergarten. Akiba has provided me with an amazing learning journey, allowing me to learn at my own pace and helping me when I get stuck. Akiba has also provided me with an amazing community, from mishpachot activities to field trips and life lessons. So, I'd like to thank all the teachers along the way who have prepared me for the next year and for my high school experience. I'd like to specifically thank my advisory teachers, namely Ms. Chipman and Ms. Rose, who have not only taught me science and humanities, but also life skills that will help make me a better person. I'd like to thank all my fellow students who either helped me as a group mate or just out of kindness. More specifically, all my fellow graduates, especially Ron Lev and Miriam, who have grown beside me as students and people since kindergarten. Lastly, I'd like to thank the Akiba community as a whole. So thank you to my mishpacha, teachers, parents, security guards, coaches, bus drivers, and fellow students, but especially to all the administrative staff who have helped make my Akiba experience as amazing as it was without necessarily interacting with me face to face.